Bonjour, welcome to Washington Education Center's radio Zoom classes. This is MEL3E, grade 11 workplace math, and I am the teacher Bronwyn Slate. If you'd like to participate live today, you can call the Wahsa studio at 1-800-465-7144 or 737-4017. You can listen on the radio at 91.9 FM and also on the television at Bell Express View channel 972. You're always welcome to join me live through the Zoom link, which is available both for me, your teacher, and also your DEC. Our classes are scheduled from Monday through Thursday, 9 till 10 in the morning, and we are in our 5th week of our 9-week course. At this point, you should be submitting work for me to mark. So a reminder that the support questions, the ones with little pencil icon, are not for marking. You decide which ones and how many to do. They're practice problems. You know what kind of practice you need. If you're understanding a concept, it's totally okay to skip questions. You don't have to do them all just because they're there. But also, if you need more practice, if you're struggling with something, please ask, and I'm happy to send you more practice. The key questions, the ones with the little key icon, are the ones to submit for marking. So please do all of these questions, showing all your work, your steps, your thinking. This way I can understand what it is that you understand. And if you're struggling with anything, it gives me more information to help you. So how do you submit your work for marking? There's 3 methods. The first is to scan your work and send it electronically. You can scan your completed work using a device. If you have an Apple device, you can use the Notes app. And if you have an Android device, you can use the Google Drive app. They're fairly straightforward point and click scan functions. But if you need some support, you can check out my tech tutorials on YouTube. And I have videos that walk you through step-by-step how to do this. Then you can send them to me through email to studentwork@nnec.owen.ca and CC it to bronwyn.slate@nnec.owen.ca. Or you can also send it to me through Facebook Messenger, where my name is B. Slate Wahsa. The second method is to drop off your work into Lookout. We have an outdoor mailbox at our location 74 Front Street. We are the bright red building next to the post office and we'll have a small white mailbox next to our side entrance. You can just put your work in there at any time. The third method is to hand your work into your DEC. Your DEC can either send your work through the Express or fax it to 807-737-1732 or toll-free fax to 1-800-463-7852. Students can also send their work through the fax. Just give us a heads up that it's coming because sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. If you'd like to connect with me through social media, both my Facebook and my YouTube channel are under the name B. Slate Wahsa. All of our radio Zoom classes are recorded and I upload them shortly after broadcasting to YouTube. I put them under a playlist called MEL3E, so you can find all of our lessons and previous lessons there, as well as there are short videos that explain common errors and confusing concepts in case there's anything that you're struggling with that you might need some extra support. Go check it out there first before you're doing a general internet search. Math is a really visual subject, so I strongly encourage you to access the videos. Either joining me live through Zoom, you don't have to talk to me, but just watching is fine, or by watching the replays on YouTube. This is really going to give you the most information. If for some reason you don't have access to either of those options, just let me know and I'm happy to send you a copy of the recordings so that you still get the full experience and really set yourself up for success. So if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and connect with me. That's what I'm here for. You can email me at bronwyn.slate@nnec.on.ca. You can send me a message through Facebook where my name is B. Slate Wahsa. You can give me a call at the office at 807-737-1488, extension 2209, or toll free 1-800-667-3703. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., but I teach from 9 until 11, so that's not a good time to try to get a hold of me. Today's lesson is actually a bonus lesson. Around this financial literacy stuff, there's a lot of different parts to it. So I really want to cover a variety of different things in order to make sure you have as much information as possible to set yourself up for success overall. So this is not attached to an actual IL unit or lesson. but it relates to what we've been talking about in terms of credit cards and loans and various ways to purchase things. So our learning goals for today's lesson is that you will be able to describe different types of payment options, and you will understand the risks and costs associated with alternative payment options. You know that you've met these learning goals because you can calculate total costs of payment options with or without interest, and you can explain the costs of installment plans and late penalties. When we'll use in real life? Well, we continue to be learning how to think critically. So we live in a capitalist system. There are lots of programs out there that want you to spend money. They're going to be telling you we're the best option because of this, this, and this, and they are not always the best option. So we are learning how to think critically to make the best choices for ourselves so that you can choose whether or not to purchase things in the way that the system wants you to. But first, let's dive in with some mental math to get our brains activated. I don't believe in bad math minutes that cause stress and anxiety in students. So instead of focusing on speed and memorization, we focus on developing strategies that are transferable and useful in various situations and based on your own personal comfort with numbers. Our question today is 231 take away 96, and we're going to be using the concept of constant difference. So subtraction can be thought of in two ways. You can think about taking away something from another thing, or you can think about this distance between the two, and you'll get to the same number either way, but they're two just different ways of thinking about subtraction. So today, with constant difference, we're going to be thinking about the space between these two numbers. And that's what we're trying to figure out. So we're trying to figure out the distance, the difference between 231 and 96. Now, that's not a super friendly amount, but what we can do is we can shift our line. I'm just trying to see if I can get a different color. Nope, it's not going to like me today. That's fine. We'll deal. What we're going to do is we're going to shift our line up a little bit. And if we shift our line up at one end, we're going to shift our line up at the other end. So if I shift 96 up by 4 to 100, then that means that I'm shifting this whole big distance up by 4. So that means that my endpoint is also going to be shifted up by 4. And I'm going to go to 235. So my starting point is now 100 and my ending point is now 235, but my distance is still the same. My distance hasn't changed because I've moved everything up the same amount of space. So now it's pretty easy for me to see that the difference between 235 and 100 is 135. So if the distance between 235 and 135 is 100, and 100 is 135, then the difference between 231 and 96 is also 135. And that's how constant difference can be really useful, because you're just shifting all of your information up or down the number line depending on what makes the most sense for you. And you're getting friendlier numbers that are much easier to subtract. All right, mine's on. What prior learning do we need to know for today? So there are lots of advertisements out there, particularly when it comes to loans or installment plans, and often they can be too good to be true. So it's just really important to be paying attention to what these advertisements are talking about and looking at the fine print, looking at the small details. So on my screen, I have two examples. I have one that has a big 0% interest up to 6 months installments. And then as you continue to look down, there gets to be smaller and smaller information where it says online purchases only. And it looks like through these various different banks, it's hard to know exactly what those those are referring to. So this big zero draws your eye and you're saying 0%. Awesome. That's not going to cause me any interest. But it's only for up to 6 months. This word up to means that it might not be 6 months. It could be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, right? They're not guaranteeing that this is going to be the 6 months. And also it has to be an online purchase. So it can't be something if you go into store. The second picture, again, has this big 0% interest installment plan. And again, if you're using, looks like if you're using public bank, that it's up to 24 months. And it's got this little asterisk, which means that there's more information. And here, if you're using Maybank, that is up to 12 months. But then here, down here in the small text, right, where there's an asterisk, it's really, really tiny. It says terms and conditions apply. And which is also often what these advertisements will say, is that they'll have this big statement of this is what the deal is, but then they'll have an asterisk that they legally have to put in to say that there are certain conditions and there's not all the details here on this advertisement. So then you have to go in and look and find out more about if you actually would be eligible for whatever these deals are. So sometimes you are, and that's great. But you just want to be making those conscious choices because there are often things in the fine print, things in the buried in the long, confusing legal text that might mean that these are not actually the best options for you. So you just want to be critical. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that you can't get a good deal. I'm just saying you want to be thinking critically and paying attention and making a wise choice for yourself. Okay, so let's look at our active learning, our new concepts for today. So I want to talk about first layaway. So layaway is that a buyer puts down a deposit, often a certain percentage of the price, including taxes, when you are first buying the whatever it is that you're wanting to buy. The remaining item is paid when the remaining amount is paid when the item is picked up. So it's like you're putting down a deposit, you're putting down an initial amount, and then coming back and paying the rest later when you get the item. Generally, there's no fees applied to this payment method. It can be a very common method during recessions. It's not as common these days due to credit cards. So it used to be that this would be a deal that you'd be making directly with the business, that you'd put down a deposit, then go and get the rest of the money, and then come back and get the item, and then finish paying the rest of it. But now with credit cards, it's a little bit easier to just put everything on your credit card and then deal with the credit card opposed to dealing with the business. So let's look at an example of what this might look like. Roxanne bought a signed collector's extreme edition of Dirty Jobs for $155.80. She is required to put down a deposit of 20% of the price, including tax. Calculate the deposit amount. So for this, what is a little bit tricky is that you're going to, for this deposit, you're going to calculate the tax first, and then you're going to calculate the deposit. So it's not a discount. Remember, discounts, we calculate the discount first. With a deposit, it's 20% including the tax. So we're going to find the tax first. It'd be great if my pen was an actual pen. Okay, so we're going to calculate the tax first. So generally how this works is that you have to pay all the tax and then you pay 20% of the purchase price. So the tax we're going to calculate. So, and remember when it doesn't tell us that we're where we are in Canada, we assume that we are in Ontario. So our tax is 13% HST. And then we're going to calculate the deposit of 20%. And this is all the price. So times 20%, which is 0.20. And we're going to use our calculator to do both of these calculations. So 155.80 times 0.13 is $20.25. And 155.80 times 0.20 is $31.16. What it was 16. Yeah. Okay, so then the total to be paid is going to be these two amounts together. So the tax and the deposit. So that is going to be $51.41 is how much Roxanne needs to put down as a deposit in order to hold this collector's edition until she could pay the rest. Okay, so the next type of thing that we're going to look at are called installment plans with no interest. So installment plans allow the consumer to get what they want to buy when they want it. So layaway, you have to put down a deposit and then come back to get your item. Installment plans means that you get to take the item home without paying the total amount at the time that you purchase it. So the buyer usually pays a deferral charge or administration fee for the privilege of not paying the amount at the time of purchase. So you have to pay extra to allow you to take the item home, even though you haven't fully paid for it yet. And then also, again, the fee and the taxes are paid at the time of purchase, even if you're not paying for any part of the actual item. So there's many stores such as the Brick or Best Buy or big box stores like that that offer pay later options and may not require monthly payments. If full amount is not paid by a certain date, though, a very large interest rate is charged. So it is something to be really careful about, because if you don't follow the rules exactly, if you don't pay everything off when you're agreed upon your contract, you'll end up paying them a lot more. There also are specific online buy now, pay later companies, but be wary of these places because they can have high fees that will be charged for missing payments. So, and these are the sorts of things that also will affect your credit score. So just be aware of that as well. Okay, so let's look at another example. Andre bought a 52-inch plasma TV. The TV cost $5,200 plus tax. He decides to take the pay nothing for 90 days option. Afterwards, he will pay monthly installment plan for 24 months. The administration fee of $79.99. Taxes are due at the time of purchase. How much must be paid up front? So that is so to start with, just to walk away with the TV, Andre needs to pay the administration fee and the tax. So we need to find the tax. Once again, assuming the tax is in Ontario, because we're in Ontario. So $5,200 times 13%. So that's going to be, let's get a calculator. $676. So remember, this is just a tax. This is on top of the $5,200. So then up front, Andre needs to pay the $676 in tax plus the $79.99 for the administration fee. So we add those together. And we get $755.99 is how much Andre needs to pay to walk out of the store with the TV. But none of this is part of the actual price. This is all in addition to the actual price. So let's just, I mean, the tax you have to pay either way, but you just have to remember that none of this is instead of playing the actual price. Okay, so part B, what are the monthly payments? So if he's paying an installment plan that it doesn't tell us an interest amount, so we're going to assume that it's 0% interest because we don't know anything else. That's what we're talking about with no interest. So monthly payments are just going to be 5,200 divided by 24 because they have an installment plan of 24 months. So that means the monthly payments are going to be $216.67. So every month for 24 months for 2 years, Andre is going to be expected to make those payments. All right, so then the next type that we're going to talk about are installment plans with interest, because this is more likely what's going to happen. So installment plans still allow the consumer to get what they want, to buy when they want it. That's still the same, whether or not you have interest. And you get to take the item home without paying the total amount at the time of purchase. You still have to pay a deferral charge or administration fee at the time of purchase. And it has to be paid. So then once all of this has been made, and because the payments now have interest, it means that you're going to end up paying for more than what the price originally was. So let's look at an example, because basically it's the same as without instant interest, but it has interest. So let's look at an example to see actually what that means. So used car is selling for a cash price of $3,999 plus HST. The dealership offers an installment plan. They require a down payment or a large first payment of $1,000 plus monthly installments of $199 for 2 years. Calculate the total cost of the monthly payments. So here we are just looking, we say we're paying for 2 years. So again, remember that's going to be 24 payments because there's 12 monthly payments in a year. So if we're paying $199 24 times, that is going to be $4,776. So that's how much just the monthly payments are. So then the total cost of the car, because we had to make a down payment of $1,000 first, is $5,776. So if you just have the cash up front, you could just pay the $3,999 plus your HST. But if you use the installment plan, you end up paying a total of $5,776, which is over $1,000, almost $2,000 more. So then we're going to calculate, so let's actually compare. We're going to calculate the after-tax cash price of the car. So that means that we're going to figure out what it is with tax. This time I'm going to do so $3,999, and I'm going to times it by 1.13 because we want the after-tax price. So I'm just going to calculate it all in one step instead of getting the tax and then adding it on. So $4,518.87. 1887. So calculate the difference between the cost between paying cash and using the installment plan. Well, remember the installment plan was $5,776. And if you just were to pay it all in cash right away, or you could just pay it outright at the beginning without the installment plan, it's $4,518.87. So we're going to subtract those. And we get $1,257.13. So you can see that by using the installment plan, you end up paying an extra $1,257.13. Maybe that's the only option that you can do. That's totally understandable, but it's something that you want to be making a choice about, opposed to thinking that you're paying, opposed to not realizing that you're paying more. So it's totally fine to use installment plans. I've done it. I mean, this is how loans work, car loans and such. But you just want to be aware that you end up paying more money. All right. So let's also talk about late penalties, because this is something that shows up with installment plans or different payment methods. So as we've seen, stores often customers various pay later options. The customer is only required to pay an administration fee plus the taxes upfront, or there also may be an interest charge. These are generally how they work. However, most stores who typically offer this payment option will specify a particular date which the product is to be paid in full. So it has to be done by this particular date. If this payment is not met by this date, a significant interest charge is applied. A big late penalty is applied. The late penalties are often written in the fine print. So in those terms and conditions, or in the small list of legal information, that's going to tell you where the late penalties are. They're not going to tell you upfront in big, bold letters that if you don't do it, then you have to pay this amount of money. No, they're going to tell you, but only if you read all of the details. They legally have to tell you, but they don't have to make it big and obvious. So let's look at an example about what this might look like. So Quinn buys a dishwasher for $1,000 at DeFriends. She decides to use the pay later option. The store requires a full payment within 2 years and charges a penalty of 40%. The administration fee of $69.99 and taxes are due upfront. How much is due upfront? So first, we're going to find out the taxes, right? So $1,000 times 0.13 is going to be $130. And then, so that means that up front is $130 less $69.99. So that means that up front it's going to be $199.99 is what Quinn's going to have to pay. Assume Quinn only pays off 25% of the price of the dishwasher by the due date. How much has she paid off? So we haven't paid anything at the beginning up front. We didn't pay anything of the actual price, right? So we still had $1,000 we had to pay. So she's only paid 25%, which is 0.25. So she's only paid $250. That's how much she's paid off so far after the 2 years, because that's what we've said. So how much does Quinn owe on the dishwasher, including the late fees? So if she's only paid off $250, that means she still owes $750. This is from the price, from the actual price of the dishwasher. But now, because it's after the 2 years, she has to pay a penalty fee of 40%. So that's 40% of what is left over. So we do have to do 40% of 750. So how would I do this in my head? Well, I'd say, okay, well, 40%, I know that 10% of 750 is going to be $75. So 4 times that would be 40%. Double 75 is 150. So double that again gives me 40% is going to be $300. So she now owes the $750 that she still owes from the price plus $300 for the late fee. So now she owes $1,050. So she owes more than she originally, the original cost of the dishwasher, plus she's already paid $250 for on the price, and she's already paid the taxes and the administration fee. So she's already paid a lot more just because she wasn't able to pay it all in the 2 years, or she forgot, who knows what happened, life happened, but she ends up now having to owe a lot more because she didn't follow the rules of the contract. So part D, in total, how much has Quinn paid for the dishwasher? So we know, let's go back. We have to gather all the information. Okay, so up front, she had to pay $199.99 for the taxes and for the administration fee. Then she'd made $250 for the paying off the dishwasher. Then she still has to pay $750 because she hadn't paid that, so that she still needs to pay that. And then she needs to pay the $300 late fee. So this is going to be $1,499.99 is how much Quinn will actually have paid for the dishwasher if she just pays the late fee and the whole $750 right after the 2 years. If she doesn't, then there's probably going to be more late fees and more interest, but we're not going to go into that right now. So that's a lot, an extra $500. So something, again, to be aware of. Okay, so let's do some more practice about these types of situations. As there are situations that come up a lot, and there can be really great options, but we want to be really careful. Okay, so a $999 computer system can be purchased in cash or by using the store's installment plan. The advertisement says today only, the cost is 20% off the regular price for customers paying in cash. For customers using the installment plan, the down payment is 10% of the regular price plus 12 monthly payments of $79. Calculate both deals. So often there can be a lot of information in these sorts of advertisements or deals, and it can be overwhelming. So let's just break it apart and go slow to figure out what it is that we actually are being offered, because it's really not clear what the two things are being offered. So in cash, we get 20% off the regular price for customers paying cash. So if the regular price is $999, so the discount of 20% is equal to $199.80. So that means that the new price is going to be, well, we take away the $199.80 from $999. So 100 away from 900 is 800. $99 take away from $99 is just going to be straight 800. Take away another 80 cents is going to be $799.20. So that is the new price for if you pay cash. There's still going to be tax on top of it, but this question doesn't tell us anything about tax or talk about tax. So we're just going to be comparing the prices without the tax. So, and then if we use the installment plan, so the installment plan says that the down payment is 10% of the price plus 12 monthly payments of $79. So that means that we have to pay the down payment is going to be $999 times 10%. So that is $99.90. And then the payments are $79 times 12 because there's 12 of those payments. So that's $948. So then the total is going to be those two added together. So that's going to be $1,047.90. Now we go back to check the question to make sure we've actually answered the question. It says calculate both deals. We have. It hasn't told us which to choose a deal or anything else. Again, you might not have $800 to just do the cash. You might have to do the installment plans because you don't have the money up front. You might have $100 up front, but not the whole amount. So that's fine. It's okay to use installment plans, but again, just being aware that you're going to end up paying a lot more money if you're using installment plans. This is how those businesses make money off of you. All right, number 2. Pete has purchased a motorcycle. The cost of the motorcycle is $21,000. He needs to put down a deposit amount of 35% of the price of the motorcycle, including tax. Calculate the deposit amount, how much is left to pay when the bike is picked up. So this is like a layaway situation. So the way that this sentence is worded, it says that it needs to put down a deposit amount of 35% of the price of the motorcycle, including tax. So we're going to find the tax, the total price in after tax first. So 21,000 times 0.13 is equal to $2,750. So the total is going to be 23,750. So then the deposit needs to be 35% of that amount, the way that this sentence is worded. So we're going to calculate 35. Oh, it was 30, not 50, my bad. 23,730 times 0.35, which is $8,305.50. Let's correct those. Okay. So then how much, so we're like, okay, are we done the question? No, what does the question ask? How much is left to pay when the bike is picked up? So left to pay. That's, sorry. So in total, we need to pay $23,730. Take away what we paid at the deposit, which was $8,305.50. So what's left is $15,424.50. 15,424.50. So when Pete picks up the motorcycle, he's going to have to pay $15,424.50 in order to get the bike. All right, number 3. Brandon buys a new stereo system for $2,200. He decides to use the pay later option offered at the store. The store requires a full payment within 1 year. Suppose Brady pays off his stereo in full by the due date. What is the total amount of money that he has spent? We don't have the payment. Never mind. We're going to skip that question because I didn't give you any payment information. All right, Tash bought a new pair of Nike sneakers for $249.99 with a pay nothing for 6 months option. The administration fee of $39.99 plus taxes was due up front. The remaining price of the sneakers must be paid in 12 months. Again, I don't have how much the monthly payments are, so I can't calculate that. All right, I will go back and fix those questions. So let's consolidate what we've learned today. So this is, remember, a bonus lesson. You don't have any key questions that you need to hand in for, but it's important information because these payments types come up all over the place. So these are alternative payment options. So we talked about layaway, which is when you have to pay a deposit and then the remaining is paid when you pick up the item. Generally, there's no interest or fees associated with this. You just have to pay in 2 chunks. Then there's installment plans, which are a take now and pay later situation. They always have administration fees, and you may or may not have interest that is depending on whatever they're offering you. There are late penalties, so this is something to be aware of. If the full amount is not paid by the deadline, there is generally a significant fee will be charged to you, and then you'll have a high interest rate probably on the remaining amount that you still need to pay. So this is something to be really aware of and be careful with, because just if you don't have the money up front and you issue an installment plan, that's fine, but you want to make sure that you're paying everything off at the due date. So hopefully you can calculate the cost of the payment now with or without interest. And you can explain the cost of installment plans and late penalties, that you're aware of all of these things that are happening. So even though this is a bonus question, if you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out and talk to me. I'm happy to talk to you about the realities of various payments in our capitalist world. So you can give me a call at 807-737-1488, extension 2209, or toll free 1-800-667-3703. Send me an email at bronwyn b.slate, which is spelled BRONWYN .SLATE@nnec.on.ca. Send me a Facebook message at bslatewasa, or find this lesson and all of our other lessons on my YouTube channel, which is also called bslatewasa. Remember, we have a playlist called MEL3E, where all of our lessons are. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., but I teach from 9 until 11, so you can't get a hold of me then. If these hours don't work for you, let me know, and we could try to work to something that works for both of our schedules so we can still connect. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely day. Miigwech.